Blog Talk Radio.
Are you ready to take a bite out of the competition? Are you looking for ideas to make your business better? Welcome to the Core Business Show with Tim Jacquet,
sponsored by Apple Capital Group.
At the core of every successful business, you'll find people making a difference. And with each episode of the Core Business Show, we talk with those people, examine those ideas, and explore the strategies that make them special. Now, the host of the Core Business Show, Tim Jacquet.
Well, good morning. Welcome to the Core Business Show. Tim Jacquet, your host. Today I'm going to talk about SBA loans. We're going to talk about grants. We're going to talk about venture capital. We're going to highlight venture capital. And to begin with the program today, if you have any questions, just feel free to give me a call. The number is 347-324-3460. 347-324-3460. If you do call in, please turn on your radio and dial 1 so I indicate that you have a question. Also, you have a question in the chat room. I will be in the chat room. You can also post that question to me in the chat room as well. And I'll read it out on the air. Talking about loans, I've done almost 2 months now. So to talk about the practical sense of getting a business loan, I know that when we talk about this program, I think with some of my higher ups, and we talk about we always catering to large businesses, but we want to cater down to the small business. We want to go to Main Street, not Wall Street. And we do have a lot of clients from investor banks, large-sized businesses, medium-sized business that we do build the business with. And we wanted to show that we can do something for Main Street, the small business, because we don't need a show for large businesses or even medium-sized business. We need it for the startup. We need it for the small and mom-pop show. We needed a show that would cater to the small business and the startup. And we wanted to pilot this program to grow with that business and see where we are in 10 years from now versus, okay, let's see how we're going to get month to month from this particular deal or not. But we want this program to be for Main Street. We want this program to be for the startup. So I'm giving you practical sense what you really need behind the scenes from a lending view, what they actually need to see. And I'm actually telling you what you need. So thinking of you in the classroom when we do these shows, think of that you have I remember having a teacher with Children's Lit many moons ago, and she said, hey, this is when we used to have 20-page term papers due. She said, I don't want 20 papers. I've read for many years. I'm finishing my doctorate degree at Rice, and I don't want to read 20 typewritten papers from 100 students. What I want is 5 pages. And our mind just blew. 5 pages. But this is what I want in the 5 pages. This is how I want you to structure the 5 pages. So believe it or not, she told us in a sense of, in her view, how she wanted it written, what she wanted to see, a blueprint, and almost told us how to write our own papers. So that's kind of the viewpoint that we're going to be taking on this one. We're going to give you the practical view of looking at what you need to prepare for a loan for the banks on a practical sense and give you a behind the sense. We're going to tell you, hey, we need a good credit report. We need it on your business and on your person. So if that takes you 3 or 6 months to create, make sure you handle that. Credit reports are very important in today's environment, your personal and your business. And you make sure you're represented on all 4 credit bureaus. If you look at past episodes, we have done a show just for business credit. We've done a show on personal credit. So before you go to the bank with your business plan, we don't want to see a 20-page business plan. We want to see a 5-page business plan that says exactly what we really need. We want a page to say what your marketing is. We want to know where your assets are, and we want you to list them. And we want clear financials about your company. That's all. Real simple, basic things. So it's just like that Children's Lit class I had. She told us how she wanted the outline done. From the summary from the very beginning, tell us what you want. Don't fluff it. Don't tell me. I just want exactly what you want in a paragraph. I don't want to read 2 or 3 pages to get what you're asking for. I want a resume on you. Same thing what she told us. But in a different sense, I want a resume. I want to know what your experience is and what you bring into the table so we can secure that for my committee. Then number three, what you really need, they're going to look at your credit report for your business and the personal. That's in line. Then they want to look at your assets. Then they want to look at your financials, personal financial statements. They want to look at and see if you have sold anything. You're in a better position if you sold something than not selling anything at all. So let's go to the business loans that's out there. So the series I'm going to be doing in the next couple of weeks is a week full of grants. We're going to do that the last week of this month, and we're going to do a lot of preparation for that, but we're going to give you sources to get free grants for your business. But to go about the SBA loans, to begin with, go to SCORE. SCORE can help guide you where to get certain loan packages, where to go to certain loan officers for your particular project. If you're construction, hey, go to this particular list of banks because they know about your project. If you go here, they specialize in this. So again, go through this particular branch for this. So when we talk about loans, the basic 7-8 loan is an SBA guarantee loan. It's not an easy loan package. Nothing with the federal government is very easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. They put these things in here to make it harder for you because they want the best and they demand the best. So it's not a loan application that you're going to fill out in a few hours and say, hey, I'm going to present it. No. The basic loan 8 application is actually a business plan in the sense taking all what you have is to fit in their guidelines. So, for example, a loan application on a Form 4 plan says your personal history. We want to know your business. We want to know your resume. What experience you have to bring to the table. Also, they want a full personal financial statement that can be proven. If you have $5,000 in the bank, you have $5,000 in the bank. Don't say you have $10,000 in the bank because they're going to verify all the information. So you can round it off. It's fine. If you know you're putting $5,000 in this particular month, or you're getting a tax return in at this particular month, and that's probably a good time to go and apply in the spring when you get your tax return because you have extra money in your checking account or extra money in savings that makes you look a little bit better. Everybody don't get money back. Also, the basic financial statements they want to see. When you look at a basic financial statement, your basic financial statement for your company, they want to look at what you've sold, what's your costs, what your expenses, and they want to see your net profit. From that net profit, it's going to tell us if you're able to make monthly payments on a loan. I just had an application that came across my desk from a dentist's office. This dentist is making $3.5 million a year in his practice, and he shows that he only, believe it or not, made a profit of $25,000. Made $25,000, which we know that's not going to happen. You're not going to make $25,000 at revenues of 3.5. But the first thing what sparked the credit analyst's attention is that he had $500,000 just on advertising. And we said, why? You can't have your cake and eat it. You don't want to pay taxes, but this is how we verify what you're actually making. It's the honor system. You earn your revenue for your business, pay your taxes. We know some people overexpense things, add everything under the box, which is fine. It's legal as long as it's legal. But to make $25,000 a year and you're asking for $1 million loan, it's just, hey, first of all, you can't afford $1 million loan because you're only making $25,000 for the year. So things like that, maybe you need to sit down with someone else, a consultant, and ask your accountant, if you're going to ask for a bank loan, you can't ask for $1 million loan and you're only profiting $25,000. So things like that, try to avoid in sending. On your business financial statements, your profit and loss statements, your P&L, your projected financials, we want to see ownership and affiliations. If you belong to the Better Business Bureau, you belong to an association for your industry, that makes you look good. We like to see that. We also like to see copies of your licenses, like your corporation papers, your plumber's license or whatever. We want to see that in the packet too. If you have some loan history with a bank, if you can get a letter from that bank or that institution that gave you that loan or your coupon statement or your last statement, that it's paid. So we have information. We're going to ask for your tax returns in this SBA loan. You're going to need at least 3 years tax return. If you go past beyond for personal April 15th, they're going to ask you for that, or they're going to ask you for the extension if you apply after. Other than that, they won't ask. For example, we in 2012, they're going to ask you for 2011s yet. They're going to ask you for 8, 9s, and 10s. 2011s is not due until April 15th. It's March 1st, and they're going to ask for that yet. But after that date, which is the 16th, yes, we're going to ask for it, or ask for your extension. The resume, as I mentioned earlier, make sure it's detailed to show you in the best possible light as possible. Also, your business overview and history, okay? Copy of your lease in that packet. And if you have a copy of your invoice, it's going to help. A copy of your ARs and your APs, your accounts receivables and your accounts payables will help as well. Also, if you have any bills to sell that's pending, we want to know if you have any lawsuits, judgment, or liens. Let us know beforehand and tell us how you're going to resolve that before you close, because they might put an option in order for you to close on this loan. You have to pay off that lien. You have to pay off that judgment. And keep in mind, we're dealing with the government guarantee loans, like any guaranteed loan program with the federal government. They're going to ask for everything. And when you sign on the dotted line, they're worse than your banker. If you go to get a regular commercial bank loan, yes, they want your house, your car, every asset you have that you list. The federal government wants that and more. Since you personally guarantee it, and this means they will take your tax return or take any monies that is coming to you from a government source, and they can intercept any monies that can come to you. They can also levy your bank accounts, levy all your accounts except your retirement account. So kind of keep that in mind. When you go for that, you have to make sure it gets paid. If not, you run the liability, penalties, and interest with the federal government, and they will get their money out of you. As long as it comes through that Federal Reserve System, they know about it. If it's $500, but if it's a significant amount over $5,000, yes, or even over $2,000, it has to go through the government system, the Treasury system anyway. So they're going to know you're going to be getting that money, and they will intercept that money. Now, one thing they won't do is for child support, they will give you the benefit of the doubt. They will allow that to go to the child, and they won't take that, but they will take what's left over. So those are some of the rare exceptions with child support agencies, because of what they look at with child support agencies. They're taking money from the government. They prefer having you pay your child support themselves versus them, the state asking for more money from them. So it's like a circle. So that's the only time they won't intercept your money. Let's go move on between the loans itself. That's called the Basic 7A loan program. Now there's a certified program, certified development company, which is 504 loan program. That particular program provides a long-term fixed rate financing for major assets such as land and buildings. So it's a real estate loan in a sense, or also you can get a farming loan for that as well if you farm for equipment. So it has to be real estate, building, or it can be farming equipment. Also, if we go to the microloans, or I know in Texas, Arizona have ACION, ACCION. Florida has it. There are micro lenders, great programs. You can don't ask for $5,000, but microloans is on anything under $35,000. And they're very small loans for startups, newly established, growing business concerns. The funds are also available through nonprofit community leaders. So it's a nonprofit fund that money goes into, the interest is paid into that, and they lend on that to people. But you still have to have good credit. You can't have any judgment. So you still have to meet their criteria, but not as stringent as dealing with the SBA loan per se. But again, the max is $35,000. I would say start off with a $500 or $1,000 line. That's reasonable. So give them the good credit history, give them a good business history, give them a good package overall that would make the process go a little bit easier. We're going to have someone from the Austin unit come on the show next Thursday, to talk about that microloan. Disaster loan and grant. Disaster loan is more of a grant, but it's a loan. So, for example, if you do stay in an area like Hurricane Katrina, or for example, Katrina, Hurricane Katrina, all of those money and loans and grants came out of the SBA. They managed those loans. Some of them will give a loan, some of them will give grants to businesses if you're in a disaster area, like what just happened, I think, in the Midwest. If your business is eligible for it, they will give you a loan. And if you're a real solid business and prove that you've done well in the community for the past, they also will give you a grant. So they might say, okay, we'll give you a $50,000 loan because you have insurance and you're trying to get back on your feet. We'll give you $35,000 as a loan, and we give you $15,000 as a grant that you don't have to pay back. But they have benchmarks you have to make within that certain period of time. It's usually 10 years. The export assistance, I would say, go to the SBA. They are really stringent on this particular loan program. As for expediters for international, also off port, if the credit lines go up to 250, you're still going to make the same criteria as the 7A program. So kind of keep that in mind. There's also some incentives within international trade loans as well. But again, you've got to qualify. You got to come to the table with everything on the table, looking good. Not say, okay, I'm just starting up and I want $500,000. No, you need to really develop your business over a course of 1 year, and that's probably the best approach. Do that for a course of 1 year and go from there. And then go to them. Also, there's veteran military loans you can apply for, special incentives, especially if you're disabled vet. We were on the show a couple of days ago about disabled vets guarantees. They will give you loans based on that. There's some special loans for special purposes. There's cap lines. They help small business to meet short-term and cycle working capital loans. It's on the umbrella of the SBA. Again, there are guarantees that's offered by the banks. They're not particular loans themselves. And again, we have the community, the CAIP loan that's available as well. In closing, this is a business, and lending is a business, and a lot of things are on the line for that. When you go to any particular loan officer, you want to go professional. You want to be dressed. You don't want to wear expensive suit, ties, or shoes. You want to dress professional, but dress conservatively. You want the JCPenney or the Foley suit or the Macy's suit or the Men's Warehouse suit. Don't go there to Neiman Marcus and wear $1,000 suit. That bank officer doesn't have $1,000 suit unless you're on Wall Street. They have the same suit from the Men's Warehouse. They're wearing a Fossil or Timex watch. They're not wearing a Rolex. So don't wear a Rolex. So they see that's what everything's going to go to. They're looking for good, practical men and women to do business with, who they can build a long-term relationship and a depository relationship with. When you go there, don't go with a 20-page document and ask for $1 million. You go there, ask for something reasonable. You might want to ask for something. If your company is making $100,000 a year and your profits are $50,000, you want to ask for a reasonable amount. And a reasonable amount can be $50,000. I mean, because they know within 2 years you should be able to get that money back. So if we go back to that, ask for $50,000. If you're unable to contact your host, okay. Look like I have a warning message posted up here. So anyway, ask for something reasonable and go with a business plan that you check your credit report and you're a B person or a B minus person on your personal credit. You go there and you have a good business credit report with 50 trade lines or 25 trade lines at least, and have a good score with your business. You want to have your website. You want to have your phone listed. You want to have your office lease available. You want your home. That's fine. Make sure you have income. But go there prepared. Go there if it's an SBA lender, the SBA loan. Make sure everything's filled out completely. There's no scratches. Go over it. Spend the time. If it takes a month, do each section by section very carefully and make sure it's complete and have someone to check over all the information to make sure it's complete. Give that officer, first of all, the initial introduction about your company. Okay? Then next, give him all the supporting documents he needs for the loan. And in the old days, we call those packagers. Packagers would actually put all this together for the loan officer the way the right one to see it. You go the same way. Don't go for $1 million. Go for half time your income or your 1 year profits, unless you can support it beyond that. So if your profit's 100,000, ask for 50 to start off with. Sometimes they're going to ask you, well, my minimum is 100,000. That's fine. But they're seeing that you're making 50, you make 50 again or a little bit more the following year. So you should have the ability to pay that now. So anyway, thank you for joining the program today. Tomorrow we're going to talk about social media. I have a great handout that I prepared. It talks about the social sales revolution, 7 steps to get ahead. And I'll provide that to you tomorrow. So again, thank you for listening to the program. Appreciate you listening. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm Tim with Apple Capital Group on the Core Business Show. Take care and have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Core Business Show with Tim Jacquet. For a free quote on equipment leasing and financing, visit our website, applecapitalgroup.com. That's applecapitalgroup.com. And fill out the information to receive your free quote. We hope you'll join us for our next episode. And remember, you can always get to the core via iTunes. You'll find all our previous episodes there. Thanks again for listening to the Core Business Show with Tim Jacquet.